talk, then we will move on to the conclusion by Antoine.
Hello everyone. Before let Thomas and Loin conclude this conference, I am going to briefly sum up all the presentation that we had today. I am also going to post in Coda, so please don't hesitate to modify if I misunderstood or missed some points. So the first speaker of the day, which introduced the thematic of Let's Have an Urban and Rural Sustainability, was Alexis Gilbert. He presented to us his thesis in partnership with ManCity. His study focused on the urbanization of the productive activity and their space vulnerability. Through the case study of Mons, but also Vienna and Brussels, Alexis Gilbert aims to show how a city can be a productive city, which means that this city integrates manufacturing activity by politic wills. This thesis aims to understand the viability of such projects and the desire of manufacturing entrepreneurs to move into the smaller structures. Then Federico Diodato invited us to think about the role and the place of a productive firm for sustainable development through the presentation of the critical analysis of the Italian territorialist school. This analysis aims to show how the local structure, the local social fabric should be at the core of the development logic of the territory. Federico Diodato calls for global thinking on the relocation of the value creation and how it could be more territorially based and still be sustainable over time. The presentation of the Messago example, an Italian town where the relocation of pink asparagus leads to an economic improvement, could be a source for hope. Claudia Terán Escobar's thesis aims to answer multiple challenges: air pollution, climate change, and physical inactivity. And so, to face those multiple challenges, she proposed to use an interdisciplinary approach. A question was how combining hard levers, such as making transport free, and soft levers, such as changing specific behavior and developing competency, could affect the propensity of using active mobility like a bike or walk. Claudia Terán Escobar tries to understand mobility behavior from geographical, sociodemographic, and psychological factors. A preliminary result seems to show that some geographical, sociodemographic, and psychological factors play effectively a role in the choice of using active mobility or not. The next part of our study will be to try to develop the use of active mobility through habit change. For the last presentation of the morning, Alexia Antuofermo and Christopher Alexander Kostritsky-Gellert, the Trois-Mages Collective, present us with Les Visiteurs du Futur. These projects aim to give us tools and a line of talks to think about system change and how poets and artists are part of the local social fabrics. To achieve this goal, the artists are asking themselves how they can act to transform their neighborhood, their ecosystem, without being ideological or overpowering the action already in place. They are working to understand all this interacting ecosystem to give solution to those who need to understand the lives that inhabit them. To do this, Alexia and Christopher seek to stimulate imagination to co-create with different actors in the neighborhood and bring the story together in a collective fiction. Then Filomena Borreca shows us the inquiry about breathing pattern, Phrenos, bank of breath, linked with her penetrable sense culture. She presents mind maps with the most representative answer from the survey. The air we breathe and share without restriction is forgotten and ignored in our daily hustle. She asks what for we accept to breathe polluted air. Phrenos is a project which aims to remind all of us our interdependency with our environment. So from an artistic point of view and through visual representation, Filomena Borreca leads us to think about how we breathe, but also how our relatives are breathing, so live, and the spiritual dimension of breath. Brigitte Nadège Fleuret Nga Ondigi made a presentation on the obom, a traditional textile from Cameroon. The project aims to propose multiple reflections and solutions on how made sustainable this element of Cameroon patrimony. The production of Obom has a repercussion as deforestation, desertification, and gas emission. Brigitte Nadej called for better collaboration between exploiters and artists who use this carbon to limit deforestation by introducing a kind of quota of abatement and planting more trees. Because of its ancestral place in Cameroon culture, the reflection on its sustainability is crucial to preserve it for the next generation. Then Subab Mukherjee presents his work on water security in Kolkata. First, he reminded us the importance of water and its multi-scale issue as well as its socio-cultural dimension. In a second time, he explained to us the challenge that Kolkata faces, a high density but small size city in India. His results show that wetland areas have been strongly reduced since 1980 due to that transformation in urban settlements. Additionally, the quality of surface water bodies has deteriorated due to the presence of metals in vents. Water security needs to be addressed in light of the social exclusion factor. Many topics, needs, and challenges linked to water security have been identified and should be more studied by researchers. Malundaba Success Kuntangila rebounds on the previous presentation to assess again the importance of water for society. Through his case study of Taoudeni in Burkina Faso, he highlights the importance of groundwater in global water management. He aims to characterize the geology of the aquifer, quantify the recharge and renewal rates, assess the vulnerability of groundwater to pollution, and finally to assess the impact of climate and environmental change on the renewal of groundwater. This work will be really useful for improving access to renewable water resources, information, and so for better management of water. Then Tatiana Jaramillo-Vivanco presents his project which aimed to first seek breeding alternative of edible insects in different species of palm of Amazonia forest, then to reduce the existing pressure on some palm species to improve living conditions of local communities. Also, Tatiana seeks an alternative source for nutritional compounds. To solve all these problems, a larva, the Chontacuros, could be useful. It could create a sustainable food system through these species by providing nutrient compounds for the population, and so it could be a sustainable alternative and at the same time diminish population pressure on palm species. Our last speaker of the day, but also of the conference, is Giancarlo Alciaturi. His project is to develop a theoretical document that could be used for people who want to link big data and geographical analysis. As a case study, Giancarlo shows us how big data could help the mapping of rice crops in the specific marine lagoon in Uruguay. This lagoon has high biodiversity and a high rice crop, but is frequently cloud covered, so it is challenging to map it through satellite analysis. Thanks to the collection of a massive amount of data and so the use of big data analysis, Giancarlo can overcome this problem and so obtain the mapping of crop rice. These examples show to us the possibility of big data and how it could be useful for sustainable development. I'll hand the floor to Laurine and Thomas.
Thank you so much, Antoine.